Hey everyone, what's up? It's me, Marisa here, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing a story with you guys that happened to me this past school year during my high school musical, and it's kind of embarrassing but can probably be beneficial to some of you guys. But I just thought I would talk about it because I feel like I can't be the only person who's ever experienced this. If you guys like this video, don't forget to give it a huge thumbs up, leave nice comments down below, and if you guys like to see some more storytime videos, I can definitely do those because this girl got a lot of embarrassing stories. As you can probably tell by the title, I don't know what I'm titling this, but it's probably something related to I couldn't sing on stage. Which I couldn't sing on stage. Let's go all the way back to the beginning in fall whenever I got casted in my show. Of course, like every single high school, my high school does a musical every single year. This year it happened to be Into the Woods and I was casted as Little Red Riding Hood. I absolutely adored the part of her. I thought her character was just so cute. It honestly fit my personality and I loved the song I had. It was kind of hard sometimes because Sondheim is like such a hard composer to sing. It's such hard music. So it was a challenge, but as a sophomore, I did the best I could with my circumstances. The whole time I was like during rehearsal and stuff from like January through March, I worked my butt off. I knew my material so well. I made sure I practiced every single night my lines. I knew my song before I even had to know my song. Like, I literally knew what was going on. I felt so confident and I just felt like I was doing the best I could with the character. I really worked hard leading up to my audition to get my voice stronger through my voice lessons, and then I felt like I did good at my audition, and then I just kept working my butt off. Like, that's all I literally did this whole year with theater and my choir and all that kind of stuff. But through working my butt off, I obviously knew my material really well. I knew what I was doing on stage. I knew my blocking. I knew my songs, I knew my choreography, I knew everything I pretty much needed to know. We get into tech week and people are sick. I personally have a long history of ear infections, sinus infections. I've had pneumonia before, I had RSV as a baby, I've had the flu. I get pretty sick. I have a weaker immune system ever since I had pneumonia. I had a pretty weak immune system as is. And in theater, people, like during tech week, literally everyone always gets sick. It's kind of like a thing. If you're not in theater, everyone always gets sick. Like a few people have a fever, but it's always like at the beginning of the week. And then hopefully by the end of the week for Friday opening night, it dies down. There was one girl who, she kind of has like problems. Like, not like problems, I want to say has like a touch of autism. She's in my cast this year. She's really like sweet, but she had bronchitis for a good month or so, and she still went to school, but she would like not think what she was doing, and she would cough on like everything. And there was one day, it was like the week before tech week, she took my script because I kept my script backstage because there was a few lines I needed like freshen up before I went on stage with them. And she took my script and I didn't know where my script was, and I was like, where is my script? And like I said her name and I was like, is that my script? And she was like, yeah. And then she like coughed like all over it. And I was like, oh my god. And it was like, of course, the page I needed like to read. She coughed all over it. I knew she was still sick. So I was like, okay, thanks. So I grabbed my script and I did hand sanitizer real quick, thought I would be fine, but obviously you can't get germs off of paper. You can't like wash down paper. So her germs kind of lingered on there and I still needed to use my script. So she was sick, and then a few other people, there was a couple in my cast, like a guy and a girl, they were sick, they got each other sick. They both had sinus infections, but they both had fevers, and they were both at rehearsal still, even though they had fevers. And then a couple of days later, they were fine, but they could still sing. So it wasn't like they sounded bad or anything. And Thursday night, we're doing our final run-through of the show before we have an audience. And I noticed my ear, because I do get frequent ear infection, my ear started hurting. And I was like, oh, why is my ear hurting? I was like really scared. I told my vocal director, I'm like, my ear is like hurting. Because I had an ear infection like a few weeks before that. And I was like, oh no, not again. So I had pressure in my ear. And by the time I got out of rehearsal, it was like 10 o'clock at night. So I had no other choice but to go to the ER. My mom took me, rushed up there. I had to wait a good like 2 hours there. Finally, they took me back. And they said there wasn't any ear infection, thank goodness, but there was fluid buildup behind my ear. which is honestly more annoying than having an actual ear infection because there's nothing really they can give you for it. So what they did was, since they knew I had a show, because my mom was like screaming, she was like, look, she has a show tomorrow, she is a lead, like she can't be sick. So they gave me a steroid shot and then my ear pressure drained, and they gave me a prescription for a decongestant to take like whenever I could get it, because obviously like everywhere's closed, like Dry Needles, everywhere's closed to get like prescriptions and stuff. So I waited till the next morning. I felt better in the morning, and he said your voice is going to sound so crisp and so perfect because like the steroids, it's going to like clear everything out, which it did. And then before I had my school preview, I took my decongestant and I felt fine, and then I didn't really notice the decongestant kicking in until I was actually on stage that night. I felt fine, like getting ready. I didn't feel sick or anything like that. I felt like perfectly fine. On stage, if you are familiar with Into the Woods, Little Riding Hood has to do 2 screams before she sings her song, because she's screaming at the baker, if you are familiar with it, and screaming because she gets eaten by the wolf. Sorry, spoiler alert. But so I had to do 2 screams before I had to sing my song. So I did the 1 scream, went off stage, had to put my cape back on, didn't notice anything. Then I go back on stage to talk to the wolf, and I talk, and my voice sounds really scratchy. And I'm like, why does my voice, in my head, like, why does my voice sound scratchy? So then I do the scream, it hurt to kind of scream. And then I go to sing my song, and I couldn't get a note out. Like, I was literally, like, I sounded like, Marisa, like, I couldn't sing. Like, it was just really, really bad. Because everything that was, like, up here, like, in my nose, in my ears, in my sinus cavities, everything just drained straight into here. And, of course, I'm doing shows. I don't have time to go to a doctor, so that Friday night, like, after I got off stage, I just ran off crying to my vocal director, who's also my voice teacher. Like, and she was, like, probably the one person who, like, really helped me. And I just, like, I was, like, literally having a panic attack. There was a guy in the cast that, like, liked me at the time. I was like, look, dude, like, just leave me alone. Like, I need to be by myself. Like, sometime after my song, before, like, I had to go on again, I had, like, a bunch of songs and stuff like that, so I had time. So I literally sat in, like, the staircase by our dressing rooms and stuff, and I was just, like, bawling my eyes out, and everyone was, like, looking me through the window. I'm like, can you just leave me alone? Like, please. And, like, everyone was, like, a lot of my castmates were, like, super encouraging and, like, really proud of me for, like, doing what I was doing. Some people were kind of, like, rude about it. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, you can still sing. Like, you're fine. Quit trying to get, like, attention. And I'm like, I'm not trying to get attention. I literally can't sing. And then it's, like, I, like, didn't really complain about it because it was kind of, like, it is what it is. Like, it's kind of one of those situations you just have to kind of, like, deal with. But, like, if it would have been, like, anyone else, they probably would have been like, oh my god, like, I can't sing, like, I can't go on stage, like, blah, blah, blah. But, like, we're in high school, we don't have understudies, so it's, like, we don't really have a choice. That Friday night, I didn't even go out with my cast. I felt, like, really depressed and, like, a failure. I remember my director even coming backstage because, like, it was, like, really, really bad. And she was like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, like, I'm sick. Like, I couldn't talk. I just sounded scratchy. I couldn't sing. Like, it was just really bad. So then the Saturday night performance, I did a little bit better. I drowned my throat. I literally drowned my throat in tea, honey, lemon water, everything I possibly could, apple cider vinegar. Nothing would break up the phlegm because it was bronchitis I had, and I didn't know at the time, but I had bronchitis. I also had a sinus infection. I was cleaning out my sinuses, and all the mucus coming out was yellow and green. I know, super gross, but it was a sinus infection, so there wasn't really anything I could do. I probably could have went to the doctors, like, that morning to get medicine, but it was just kind of like, why even bother, you know what I mean? Because I thought I would have gotten better, but I didn't. I couldn't get the phlegm out. I tried coughing it up, and it just wouldn't go. And then the Sunday performance, I was getting even more sick. I had a really bad fever. I was just so sick, but I didn't have time to go to a doctor because I had to be at the school for like 12 o'clock that day. I just felt so weak and exhausted and tired. I just wanted to go home. It just, like after having to, like, go through that, like, if I can go, like, literally, my motto now is if I can go on stage not being able to talk, not being able to sing, I can literally do anything. And that is probably the #1 thing musical theater has taught me in general, is that I can literally go on stage doing anything. I'm fortunate that I got sick, but I then went to see an ear, nose, throat doctor, and I discovered it is my allergies as to why I keep getting the fluid in my ears. My sinus is why I sound scratchy. I'm severely allergic to my cat, and I have a cat and I can't get rid of him. I have him since I was like 6 years old, so it's like I can't get rid of my cat. I'm allergic to pollen, I'm allergic to trees, and I'm allergic to a certain type of grass that like grows right when my musical season is. I am on allergy shots now. I literally just got my first injection today. So hopefully I should be happy and healthy and everything works out for me. Like, it was just such an embarrassing experience. Like, and it really killed me for like a good like month or so after. Like, it still even haunts me now. Like, I don't know how I'm making this video right now. I don't know how I'm not crying. I'm honestly also really scared for this year because I feel like, oh, we can't give her a part because she got sick last year and blah blah blah. I feel like my director's just gonna be like, we can give it to someone better anyway. She doesn't need a part, and I don't know. I'm just like really scared for this year. I don't know if this story helped you guys in any way, but I literally couldn't sing, and it was just painful torture. But I ended up having bronchitis, a sinus infection, an ear infection, and strep throat was starting to develop as well because I couldn't get to a doctor to treat the other infections. So my doctor really didn't even know how I survived those 3 days without like needed to go to a doctor. She was like, you are like amazing, like I've never seen this. She said it was like a medical like phenomenon because normally if you're sick you just go to a doctor, you lay in bed all day. Like, if I would have felt like that any other day, I would have had to lay in bed all day, but I had to do my thing. I mean, I tried my best. Since I couldn't do my singing, I tried to do the best I could with my acting. I still tried my best to entertain. I tried to do the best I possibly could under my circumstances. I know a lot of people were proud of me, but I also felt like a lot of people were like, oh, she sucks really bad. Like, I know like some people, like some friends I have from different schools said you can tell you were sick. But it's like other people who like don't know like vocal help and stuff might have been like, oh my god, she sucks. Or people who just don't like me in general, like, okay, yeah, no wonder why, like, she's not that good anyway. I don't know, it's just like I feel like I got a lot of people talking about me about it and stuff. I still feel like it's gonna be talked about. I mean, like, people get sick all the time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. I don't know how y'all are feeling about it. I don't know. But if you or someone you know has went through something like this before, please give this video a thumbs up, and of course, comment down below anything you guys like, anything nice, please and thank you. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys, love you. Mwah.